I mean, I remember I did this series for 50 weeks and I did it every Friday, did not miss 1 week. And it didn't get any more views than 100 views. And I did not stop because I'm like, one of them's gonna hit, I ended up giving up, obviously, because I'm like, this is just a huge waste of time. But I look back at that now and then I look at what I'm doing now and I'm like, okay, yeah, my method and creativity is like totally different. Like I am able to like not listen to the world, but take that in mind, you know? And then put my own flavor into it. And I think just keeping it as true as to myself as I possibly can has just been my recipe for success so far, I guess.
Peet Montzingo, welcome to From Vision to Creation. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me today.
Heck yeah. It's going to be cool.
It really is, Pete, because you know what? You actually have like a very unique story, different than any other guests I've ever had on the show. So you grew up as the only average size person in your family. Then you turned to music for healing. You've been creating amazing content and music throughout your entire career. I feel like you have a very multifaceted approach to creativity. So I'm excited to dive into like your early life, your career, and just every step that's brought you to this moment.
Heck yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, I'm excited to dive in. I guess just like tied in like a nice bow. Basically, I grew up in Seattle and like you said, I'm the only average type person in my family. I think that kind of pushed me to be very empathetic and pushed me to be very, I guess, all-inclusive in the way that I think, which I think kind of set me up for this career. And in singing and in like my entrepreneurship. It's just funny how like you look back and just life works out in the way to where it like makes sense, right? Like hindsight. But basically I was trying to make it on YouTube. I was posting on YouTube in like 2007. It's just nobody cared until 2020. So I was like an overnight success to a lot of people. And I'm like, obviously that's not the case. I was in like a touring boy band before that. I was trying really hard for like years before that to make a name for myself. And so it's just crazy. It's like right when you decide that it's time to give up is when it happens, you know?
So I'm really glad that you brought this up because I think it's an important thing to touch on, the whole overnight success thing. Usually people that are considered to be overnight successes have been working at it at their craft forever. So
forever.
Well, at this point, Pete, I mean, you've amassed over 40 million followers across all of your social platforms, which is a huge feat and super impressive.
Thank you.
I want to go back though. Let's go back to before you started amassing a following, when you were creating content, when you didn't really feel as validated as you do now. I guess where I'm going with this is I'd like to hear about your perspective, creating content, putting it out, and it not working, so to speak.
So I have a very nuanced like way of comedy. And I kind of basically had to learn how to lean into myself more, but then at the same time, like tone it back a bit. And I think back before I blew up, I didn't know that balance. And I was just being very current, like cringy millennial vibes and like not really knowing who I was, what I stood for. I was just making content to create content with like doing skits and stuff. Like I did one, I remember I did this series for 50 weeks and I did it every Friday, did not miss 1 week. And it didn't get any more views than 100 views. And I did not stop because I'm like, one of them's gonna hit, I ended up giving up, obviously, because I'm like, this is just a huge waste of time. But I look back at that now and then I look at what I'm doing now and I'm like, okay, yeah, my method and creativity is like totally different. Like I am able to like not listen to the world, but take that in mind, you know? And then put my own flavor into it. And I think just keeping it as true as to myself as I possibly can has just been my recipe for success so far, I guess.
Creating all of that content, first of all, it teaches you how to become a good content creator, because you're constantly creating videos, editing them, and then also you develop thick skin, because nothing is as humbling as putting out content consistently and getting like 3 likes, one of them
Oh
being your
my
mom,
God.
you know?
My poor high school like peers. They had like no one's reached out since I blew up because I'm pretty sure they're like, okay, thank God he's gonna like shut up now about like promo on my, YouTube video that has 20 views.
And so you go back to something like that and people could say, oh, it's cringy. But I feel like it's only cringy until it works out.
It's less cringy now, even though I could be making cringier videos because it's more like me.
Yes. No, and that's a good point, because I think right now what you're talking about is like the quality of the videos. I mean, first of all, they're amazing. Like I've watched a ton of your YouTube videos. The
Oh my God.
production
I'm so
is
embarrassed. Thank you.
no, but the production is top notch. They're super entertaining and they're uplifting. Like they're fun. You don't feel they're not. They don't. I feel like they don't stick to a specific format, which is also really nice. But what I'm talking about in terms of like, putting yourself out there on the internet, even if you're making high quality, great content, if nobody's liking it or nobody's viewing it, it can be perceived as cringy, especially when you're the
Right.
one putting it out there.
Right.
But I feel like you have to do that in order to get to this place where it actually starts to work.
Exactly. If I didn't have the 10 years plus of training, I call it unpaid training, then I would not be ready. Um, and that's just a testament to like, yeah, never giving up. Like people give up way too soon, and I get too soon could be like 20 years too soon, but still like how bad do you want it?
Right. And Pete, I want to take it back just a little bit for a minute before we go into, you getting started in your career, things like that. So your parents split when you were 11, and you used that experience to turn to music as a way to kind of get through that.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about when the moment that you realized that music could be healing for you?
Yes. So it was in English class in ninth grade. I remember feeling really out of place in my family, and then also really out of place at school because not only was I really ADHD and often just felt misunderstood, but I was also like the shortest in the class, which is hilarious. So I just felt like totally, a misfit. And then instead of like talking to friends, because I didn't really have any, and I was like burnt out of Zelda and video games. I love Zelda.
I used to play when I was a kid. I loved it.
Oh my God, tattoo.
Oh, nice.
Zelda
Okay,
game.
you really love Zelda.
Oh, hardcore fan. I discovered music at that moment and was basically like, I feel free. I feel a weird outlet that is almost doesn't have a ceiling. If that makes sense. Like it felt like unlimited possibilities. And then I just started writing like really crappy music, in ninth grade. But I was getting my fingers wet, like just trying to figure it all out. I don't know. And then to this day, I still feel like it got me through it all.
And do you feel that that was the moment that you really realized that you wanted to pursue a career in entertainment, or did that not come until later?
I would say that was always in my brain. My mom put me in like acting classes when I was 7, 8.
Oh, wow.
And she's such a drama queen herself that I'm like, I'm obviously I knew there was some career in it somehow.
I just need to say, I love your mom. I think she is so cool, and she's just so much fun. And like I love the dynamic between the two of you in your videos.
She's the best. Yes. I'm about to go over to her house later today and annoy the crap out of her.
I just watched the video, your most recent one, where people were playing music to your mom's movements in real life, and I thought that was so funny.
Thank you. That took forever.
Oh, I could tell. Like I could tell that was an intricate thing to put together, but it was so perfect. And the part where she's waving the stick over her dog's head,
Yes.
and the drummer's playing the drums, like that part, it just killed me.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad it just like all panned out, Like I always wake up the morning of shoots and like, what if shit hits the fan,
Okay, well, so interesting to know that you've always known this since you were a kid, 7 years old in acting classes. You started really early. Your first moment on TV, it's kind of an unexpected one.
Oh no, I'm not ready for it.
Wipeout.
Oh no. Oh God.
Okay, I want to hear, how did you find out about Wipeout, and how did you actually get on the show? And by the way, I've seen Wipeout. I would watch Wipeout growing up, so I probably
no.
saw your full episode.
I'm so traumatized right now. Okay, so basically, I was in high school and I was not getting along with my mom, and she really wanted a show where it could bond us. And I'm like, everything that you recommend, I hate, and vice versa, or whatever, teenage years. And she's like, there's this new show called Wipeout. She's like, it's has violence in it and it's whimsical. Like, I think this could be like a show we could watch together. And I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. And then at the end of watching the very first episode, I was like, oh my God, that looks so dangerous. And she goes, yeah, promise me you'll never be on it.
Oh my God.
And so that summer I went to LA and I auditioned, and then I got on.
So did you tell your mom you were auditioning for Wipeout, or was it a surprise?
It was a surprise. I called her. I'm like, I'm on that show you told me not to get onto.
Oh my God. And I also heard you say that after that first obstacle course that you were literally vomiting blood.
Yes. Where'd you read that?
I think I saw it on an interview you did.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I did my homework, Pete.
Oh God. But yes, I was throwing up blood. Like, it was insane. And we had to do the first chorus. If we qualified for that, we had to go immediately to the second chorus. And I didn't have any time to recover. And I'm like, $50,000. I have to hold on.
Well, and the funny thing about that is that the guy that beat you he did it in the fastest time in the whole show in that season. So had you participated in another episode, you would have won.
I was the second fastest time in the whole season.
Oh, whoa. Okay. It's the second fastest in the whole season.
And he was the first fastest. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like always a regret that I lived through my nightmares. But everything works out. It's fine.
The next major TV moment of yours was on X Factor. And actually, Pete, so I watched it. It didn't go as planned for you, but I have to say, I'm actually glad that it happened that way and that we're here talking about it now, because just because somebody who's really respected in any industry, just because they tell you no, does not mean it's a no. It's just a no for that moment.
That's so true. And I think I didn't even really, like when you're young and you're like, oh, a failure, it just makes you want to give up on everything, even when it's like something as stupid as that. Because I mean, X Factor, like, I mean, it's a miracle that people even make it to the TV round, There's like 5 auditions for it. So, I mean, yeah, I beat myself up about that a lot, but yeah, like looking back, it's again, like hindsight just it all makes sense,
And I actually thought the same thing. I mean, I really do feel that you were meant for this path, because even like to your point, just getting on the television auditions is really difficult. What do you think that experience has taught you about perseverance and rejection when putting yourself out there specifically?
It taught me a couple things. One, it taught me to just keep going. You never know what you don't know. You never know how things might turn out. It's always good to like grow and take a chance and, expand your brain. Because I always like doing that to myself and pushing myself. The other thing I would say, it really helped me fine tune how I wanted to, I guess, my career life that I wanted. Because after that show, we actually were offered a reality show with Simon Cowell's team about like my family. And at that point I had said, no, I don't want to do it because, well, at the time my acting manager in LA was like, you can't ever be a serious actor. If you ever do reality, like don't do it. It's a trap. Also, like, I want to be known for my talents, And so that was part of it. So I felt like I was at a crossroads, like a couple times, I guess. And that X Factor was like the first time where it's like, what do I want? And I think being intentional is just such a big point, I guess, on that too. So Um, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And I'm actually really impressed with the discipline to say no to that early on in your career because you have
Right.
no idea what's coming. And I feel like oftentimes a lot of people will just get tempted and give in to that temptation and go down a path that doesn't necessarily align with their values and their vision. So to hear, how old were you when you said no to this?
Like 18,
S-
19.
Okay. Yeah. So to be able to say no to that at 18, 19 years old,
Can you
Matt,
imagine? Like,
no, that's why mad props.
oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing that I'm also finding really interesting here is that you also had you had a very clear vision of what it is that you wanted to do. At least it sounds like by saying no to an opportunity that early on. What do you think gave you that clarity? Because I feel like a lot of people, especially when you're first starting out, I mean, and let's face it, 18, 19 years old, you're quite literally doing life for the first time. What gave you that clarity so early on, Pete?
Ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old, I've always been insane, like chaotic. I think I was born for say Mercury on retrograde. Like, I mean, it just all kind of fits. Um, and I think I've never really understood or felt like the weight in wanting a family or wanting like a spouse or wanting
Mhm,
a traditional life or a 9 to 5.
mhm,
Like I literally, no matter how many times I was forced to do sports because of my able body or try this or do this, like everything led me back to the arts. And
mhm.
even in interest tests, I'm not even kidding you, everything was below average, like like grades down. And then creativity was like 98 percentile. Like
Wow.
so I think that was also a clear indicator, like, okay, literally I'm just born to create in some way, like, and I just want to show it. And I guess I've just always loved getting reactions out of people and
Mm,
making people feel good or you know what I mean?
mhm. And you also mentioned that you were diagnosed with ADHD. I feel that that probably, I'm sure you've had your challenges with that growing up, but I also feel that that probably positively impacted your creative processes. Am I right?
Totally, except like last night I didn't sleep. So, pros and cons.
But the videos get done. You can pull the all-nighter.
Exactly. Like everything eventually gets done.
And after finishing your film degree at Central Washington
Oh
University,
my God. I hate that you know that. Oh God.
you moved to LA shortly
Ugh,
after that.
yeah.
What was it like moving to a brand new city and state away from your family for the first time?
Well, that's kind of what I was trying to get at with the last question. I feel like I've just always been psychotic. I've never really cared about staying in Seattle because family and friends are there. Like everyone comes to LA and they're like, "I made the big move. I
Mhm.
can't believe it." And they like keep raving about it. And I'm like, the move, like I haven't even processed the move still, and it's been like 10 years.
Mm.
Like it's so in the like stars, I think for me that or I'm so delusional enough to like, really believe in myself to, it's like one of those. So I don't think I think I was excited for a fresh start. I hated Seattle. No offense to Seattleites, but I wanted sun. I wanted the career. I felt like I was behind even like at 16.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite things about talking with creatives in Los Angeles or New York City specifically, I should say creatives who are not originally from those cities, is that it takes a very specific type of person to
Mhm.
leave home and come to a brand new place, in pursuit of a career.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah. Well, and so and trust me, like when I was growing up, I would tell my parents, "What are we doing here? Like, let's get to LA stat. Like, what is this
Same.
nonsense?"
Yeah.
But it took me a while to actually, like make the move. And it's funny because I didn't make the choice to move here necessarily. My fiance at the time and I were having a discussion, and I said, "Hey, like, hear me out. I really want to move to New York City. I cannot live in Texas anymore. I'm born and raised here. I'm done." And at this point, I was living in Austin, Texas.
Mm.
And he said, "New York? he said, "What do you mean, Alexander?" He's like, we're gonna have to sell our cars. We're gonna pay a ton of money to live in a tiny little apartment.
You're like, all right.
The weather, we're gonna have to. The weather's is horrible during the winter. We're gonna have to take the subway." And I was like, "I know, how romantic. Let's go."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, how about LA? You know, I'm from LA. My family's there." And it just kind of worked out. So from that conversation to the time that we moved, it was like 5 weeks. Yeah,
Wow.
and a lot of
Did
crazy
you
things.
sell the car and everything?
No, I was able to bring
Okay.
the car. Yeah, we were
Okay.
selling the car because we were thinking of selling the cars because moving to New York, it would just be easier to not have a car.
Okay, good.
But
I'm glad you brought it.
yes,
You can't
yes,
survive without a car here.
no, not at all. But yeah, so I really do appreciate that mindset, and I feel like that's what this show is all about. It's, taking risks, believing in yourself, and pursuing your passion, even if it's scary.
Yeah. And I think that's the most important part. It's like, I feel like deep down, everyone knows what they're good at. Everyone knows what they want to, pursue career wise. Like, if that thing is being creative or something like as depressing as that career, because it's going to be hard, it also means that like you're meant for it, I believe. So, like,
Right.
step up,
Yeah.
take the risk.
For sure. And I also feel that like what you are pursuing, you have to love it, because if you don't love it, you're going to give up when you don't achieve success right away. Because if you're in it for success, quote unquote, and that's the only thing that drives you, it's not that will not sustain you
Exactly.
through the challenges that are up ahead.
Yeah. And Adderall only lasts a couple months before it's good.
Yeah. Well, and it's like with this show, I started doing this audio only, and I was doing it, and it was a total passion project, audio only for about 2.5 years. And then,
wow.
but some people said to me, "Alexander, you have to do it on video." And it's actually taken on a totally new direction since doing it on video. Like for the 2 years that I did it just on audio, I think I got 10,000 streams total. And in the past 9 weeks, it's gone over 1 million views, listens.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird to see it work. And so, and I'm bringing this back to you. What did you feel when it first started to work and you started posting online?
Well, I gave up totally. It was after my last boy band. I lied about my age. Like, the label sat me down. I was like crying. I was like, oh my God. And then COVID happened and we were living in Nashville. And then the label was like, all right, everyone go home, because we were all from different parts of the US. And so I went back to LA, and in that first week, I literally like gave up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna smoke some weed. I don't care anymore. I've aged out of everything. It's time I learned my lesson. And then in that week, I was like, okay, what's this TikTok thing that everyone keeps talking about? Everyone's like bored in the house, bored. And so I have like in my office, and it used to be my old apartment, I have like really weird things because I'm creative. So I made a DIY ball pit
Oh my God. So
up
cool.
in this little like nook through Narnia, and it's like my bed is on the other side just to prevent myself from one night stands. Like, it's like a whole freaking thing. And I post about it, and it's just like a casual, like and it goes super viral. And James Charles commented on it. Turns out he lived 3 floors above me,
Oh my God.
like in the same like shitty unit, like apartment. And I'm like, what? And yeah, I remember calling my mom. I was like, oh my God, I'm done quarantining here for another like week and a half. Then you want me to help you like wash your groceries when we were all doing that. I'm like, I'm going to make you be in videos, and like, this is perfect timing. And she's like, I don't know about that. And I'm like, stop lying. Like, you low-key love it. And like, yeah, that whole like week and a half I was home, I just started getting like feeling the fire under my butt, of like, all right, like, this what I've been working for, I guess. Like, I don't even know what this career is, like nothing like I thought, but yeah, it's very interesting.
Pete, I need to circle back to something.
Yes.
You had to put a ball pit between your bed to prevent yourself from having one night stands.
Oh God, I'm so ADHD. Okay, you have to climb up a rope through a Narnia wardrobe to get to the bed. That's what prevents me from one night stands.
Well, that disqualifies a lot of people. I bet a lot of people can't do that.
Exactly. It was perfect mind trick.
That's so funny. And okay, wait. And also I want to talk about the ball pit for a second. How large was this ball pit in your apartment?
Like half the size of this table.
Oh my God.
It's
That
comfy.
I'm not gonna lie. If I had a ball pit in my place, I would hang out in the ball pit. I would.
Thank you. It's
Yes.
awesome.
And one thing too that we need to talk about is your boy band era, because you were in 4 different boy bands over the course of 5
Oh
years.
my God. Yes.
But I actually think that's really interesting because what did you learn about yourself as an artist having to collaborate with multiple people in multiple groups over a short period of time?
Okay, a short period. It felt like it was 100 years.
Oh.
And let me just tell you, when you break up with bandmates, it's like breaking up with your love and all their relatives every band breakup. So
Mm.
it feels like 5, 6 years was like 100 years. I feel like I learned, I got into a boy band initially because in high school, everyone said, you look like you belong in a boy band. My sister grew up with like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and I was
Mhm.
like, I want to be in that. And
Mhm.
just being an annoying little brother. Um, but then like when I got to LA, I was like, wait, One Direction. And there's, why not just try for something crazy? Like I'm already here. Um, and with that mindset, I had thought that I'm not a good solo artist. I thought that I'm weak, my vocals aren't strong. Where I'm strong is in like the brotherhood vibe. I'm good at like being the glue, like in groups. I'm good at like harmonizing. I'm good at like stage presence.
Mm.
Good at like like so there are different elements that I knew I would be good at. And I never thought that it wouldn't be a boy band.
Mm.
That's why I kept bouncing from one to the next because I'm like, okay, one of these are gonna work. And the last group that I was with, we toured in like South Africa and Spain and Europe, and it was really awesome. And I got to support a group called Boyzone, and they were performing in arenas, and so I got to actually like live out my dream of what does that feel like? Do you feel the magic? So I feel like I gained all of this insight. And it's kind of like what I'm doing now, where I feel just multifaceted and totally misguided in a way, because
Mm.
I'm just like, rah, about with everything. Like I have a little bit of experience in like all of this stuff. And then, I mean, no wonder my brain, I feel like it's exploding half the time because it's hard for me to like, just like take what I've learned and move forward in like a smarter direction. So all that to say, I definitely learned a lot, and now I'm actually am doing a solo career, which is crazy. And I feel like the pros and cons that I learned from those years were, I mean, I couldn't have trained for that.
Mhm. And are you familiar with the band? They used to be a band. Why don't we?
Oh, of course.
Corbin Besson has actually done this show.
I know. I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, and he said that when he was pursuing his solo career, when he started, he felt an enormous sense of freedom. Do you feel the same way?
No. If I'm going to be honest. I feel existential dread in a way,
Mm.
actually. I feel like an artistic freedom and like, oh, I can finally actually do the thing that I feel like I was supposed to. Um, but there's all this pressure now of like all the platforms,
Mm.
taking me aside and telling me in meetings like, you're gonna have to choose, are you gonna be an artist or be a creator? Like you're gonna lose followers, but you have to be intentional. You can't go back, or you have to do this, or you have to like hybrid this or create a different. And I'm like, there's so much pressure around this that like I just want it to be about the music. I
Mm.
just want to create like awesome songs that people can relate to that are uniquely my experience and not have to worry about like the social media of it all. Because
Mhm.
that's like at this point, a lot.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I definitely want to talk about too, because this is a personal interest of
Oh no,
mine.
I'm so scared.
Cecil Hotel. Did you figure that was coming?
No, but I
Okay.
love it.
So you lived next to the Cecil Hotel, where all kinds of really scary, crimes and supposed hauntings have occurred.
Where James Charles was too.
Oh, that's true. So that's
That's
the
the
building you
ball
guys
pit
are both.
place. And it's my
Whoa.
office now, so I still get to spy.
Oh, wow. So what's it? Okay, so tell us about what that was like because I obviously saw your video on YouTube. That was super intriguing and interesting. I want you to talk to us about like some of the scariest stuff that happened in your apartment living next to the hotel.
In my apartment specifically,
Yeah, in your apartment or looking
it's
out
just
your
like okay.
experiences.
Well, I only ask because I do categorize them in that way. I'm like the more I dive into like paranormal stuff, when
Mm,
I was really doing a lot of videos around it and going around like honestly the world and like checking different like haunted houses, haunted asylums and stuff, which is
mhm.
so freaking cool. You have to try it. But also so scary. Um, every time I would get back from like a mega trip like that, I feel like something was attached to me. And I always felt like I would only experienced this when I was back in that apartment across from the Cecil. And so everything, not to make it sound dramatic, but I'm just like, why does everything lead back to the Cecil in my life right now? Because it feels like it does. And like the things at the Cecil, I didn't even know that the Cecil was a haunted building until after I had my housewarming party in my in my apartment at the time. And my friends were like, "Why'd you move across the street from the most haunted hotel in the world?" And I'm like, that that's the most haunted hotel in the world, that piece of crap? And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No one's living there. What do you mean?" And it was closed because this was like 2018 or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and to long story short, that like started the rabbit hole. I went and dived deep into everything. I started like notebooks. I started like I got binoculars, I got telescopes. I really kind of went crazy. But I would see things that just wouldn't make sense, and like no one was there. I would never see a person, but I would see like curtains moving, doors opening and shutting. Like some of them had blinds before the remodel, and like some of the blinds I would just see like do that again. Like for years, never saw one person though. So you would think if it was a homeless person, maybe like one resident were to stay, like, why did I not see anybody for years, you know?
Right.
Um, I did see one specific story. I did see the one time I did see a person. I don't know if it was an apparition, or if I was just like delirious, but I woke up in the middle of the night across the street, obviously at my apartment, and I have 4 forward-facing windows that are pretty big that straight up Cecil, like right there. And this is when I ended up with when I had a bed that was not next to the ball pit and down on the regular floor. And I had it right next to the window, and I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was like, I have to pee. And I look outside, and on the balcony on the 7th floor, I saw a man smoking a cigar, like hanging out. And I'm like, okay, this is the first time I've ever seen, and it's like 2019. I'm like, it's the first time I've ever seen anybody in this hotel. It's 3 a.m. and he's looking at me. How is he looking at me when it's pitch black in my apartment and it's the middle of the night? Like, how does he know I'm looking at him and he's looking at me? Like, it's one of
Mhm.
those like, da 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 da. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna run from one side of my apartment to the other, like past all 4 of those windows. And if his head turns, then I know he's looking at me, and then like I won't be able to explain it. And I got up and I ran, and his head turned. And I jumped behind my couch at the time because I was like, just freaking out. And I
No way.
remembered that like the Hotel Cecil is closed. Like it's literally boarded up. Like no one's there. And I looked back up again and like he wasn't there. And I have no idea. But I did look online after that night, and I did see there was like a bigger man who would always smoke cigars, who jumped from the 7th floor balcony. And
No, you're
so
kidding.
so I'm like, it could, but everyone can make up those, so I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a skeptic, but like,
A water bottle flew off of your TV across the room.
that one was crazy. And that was the first week that I was in my apartment actually with my roommate at 1 p.m. Like just literally one side of the room to the other, half full, no AC or fan on, windows were shut. Um, and then like the creepiest one that I had was when I got back from a big ghost trip, and I was laying down in my bed, and I wasn't like already half asleep. It wasn't one of those, but I am facing the wall, and I lay my head down and I hear
No.
and I've never heard that in my life. And it was so audible. And I'm like, of course, it's after I get back from this like this huge. I went to like 27 different haunted locations across the U.S. Like it was definitely something attached to me for sure. I feel like, and I did not turn around, but I knew if I had turned around, I would have seen something. Probably would have been murdered or something.
Oh my God. I actually had a similar experience with a whisper in my grandparents' house, which is definitely, if you guys are watching, I'm sorry. I know you don't like me to talk about it, but but their house is haunted. So many people have experienced a bunch of different things. And at first, things would happen and I knew people were skeptical. So I would just think like, oh, I'm just not going to say anything, whatever. And it wasn't until everyone kind of started saying like, hey, has this ever happened to you? We were like, yes, the house is haunted. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Well, one time I was in the kitchen and I was drinking water in front of the kitchen sink. It was nighttime. It was a dim light on in the kitchen, already a recipe for a disaster. I was kind of zoning out, but I was fully awake and I was drinking water and I'm looking at my reflection because when you look out of a window at night, you can't see anything because it's dark, but you can see the room if there's a light on.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my reflection, drinking this water, and right behind me, exactly like you said, it's so audible. I almost felt someone approach me, and I just hear, "Shh, be quiet," and I freaked out. But actually, I should say, when I heard the whisper, I froze, and I look in the room because I thought someone was in there, and there was nobody in there. I turn around, no one's in there, and so I like drop the water and I run back upstairs.
Yeah, literally like run.
Yes.
Oh God. And the craziest part about my story at the very end of that week, I plug in my hard drives to get all the footage. It's corrupt.
No.
All the two of the hard drives, the SD card that I used in my drone, and for some reason, 3 of the locations on my iPhone footage was corrupt as well. I know. It's like
what?
Clearly something attached to me and then totally screwed over, like put me in the red,
Okay, P. Well, I have to say, I'm glad that you're a kindred spirit. We both love this like ghost stuff, and really cool that you went to a bunch of locations. I want to hear more about this, but I feel like you and I could probably go on about this forever, a whole other podcast. But thank you for sharing the Cecil Hotel experiences because that's spooky and really intriguing and interesting.
Yeah.
I want to talk about too. You co-authored a book, a children's book, which I haven't read it because I don't have a physical copy, but I watched your video where you read it.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite line is the last one. You don't have to be perfect to be beautiful too, because the little imperfections are what add up to you.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you.
The book is called Little Imperfections, A Tall Tale of Growing Up Different, which is a story about your life growing up as an average size person in your family and experiencing those differences. But you also touch on, divorce, which is universal. So many people can relate to that. You also talk about healing through music in the book, which I think is a very important thing because kids should know that if you are going through a hard time or dealing with things, you can find things that can help get you out.
Yes.
So that last line, what I love about it so much is that I feel that it really does capture your story, your essence, your truth. But I think that this applies to everybody, which I love. Can you talk to us about what the impetus was for writing the book, your experience writing the book, and then the impact it had once it was published?
Yes. So, okay, basically, I have a buddy slash business partner who is an author, and he lives in New York. And I was just telling him, okay, for the past year, a lot of my videos been going viral, where I do this poetry, and I tell him, and this was back when I was making really wholesome content at the beginning, and it was like, when I see my mom who's small in a family or in a house that's tiny, but I'm big, it's like one of those Dr. Seuss kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what do you think if we co-write a story together where we kind of make them vignettes and then I can release them as shorts, but then it can also be its own product. And I'm like, because honestly, everyone's been annoying me about having merch and slapping my face on things. And I hate that more than anything. And it makes me just cringe. I'm like, I'd rather have someone have like a message, or
Mhm.
something that actually is exciting.
Mhm.
Um, and so we kind of like, I guess, like wrote that in 2 weeks. We assumed that it'd be just really fast. We could have like the ebook out in like a month and then be a quick like cash grab and then like, see what happens. And then maybe we'll like publish a physical one or whatever. Okay, 2 years later, we had to have the sexy dust jacket. I learned that children's books are the most expensive to make because they're the lightest but heaviest, the most colors,
Mm.
and like, I mean, it's just like the drop shipping of it all, and like I have like a separate business for like publishing now since I did it independently.
Mhm.
Um, and the most frustrating part though is knowing that we were a New York Best Time seller. We qualified, but we just didn't go through like the right avenues to be able to like get that qualification.
You're kidding.
So it's all the red tape of it all and but it's a blessing because I'm going to look back and understand how it's going to be a good thing because I'm working on my second book now called Noah and the Never Pretenders. And because of all of our sales that we did without a publisher, we were able to secure a second deal and re-release the first book too.
Oh, amazing.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. So like definitely something I would never do again
I
by myself and with him, my business partner. You definitely need a village for something like that. And I learned my lesson.
And is the second book gonna be a children's book as well?
Yeah.
Awesome. And what advice would you give to somebody who wants to write and release a children's book?
The more I'm in this career, the more I'm realizing for me that the closer I stick to my authentic self and my truth, the more that's going to resonate.
Mm.
And the more people are going to be excited because I'm going to be excited. And those Gen Zs are so smart. They're going to know as soon as you're doing something for a cash grab. Like,
Mhm.
it's just not even worth it. And like, why would you do it anyway? So I would suggest if anyone wants to be an author, if anyone wants to be a creator, if anyone wants to be a director, an actor, a singer, like to me, they really all are all the same because you're creating something that just has to be something that's you that no one else can have.
Mhm.
And that's what makes it so special.
Mhm.
And even if it's embarrassing, cringe, and you view it as a weakness, just find the strength in it. Like just it's all about perspective. I just wish I had learned that 10 years ago.
I love that because that is very good practical advice that anybody could apply to any project that they're doing.
Yeah.
And Pete, at this point, we've mentioned you have a following of over 41 million subscribers and followers online. What is the most rewarding part to you about having such a large community online? And do you feel any pressure that comes with that?
The biggest reward is definitely meeting everybody. This is definitely being able to help support my family, being able to be an advocate for dwarfism and ADHD and mental health. Um, it's for my mom to meet Peter Dinklage. It's for, all these little things but I would say the number one thing would be I'm only doing this because I want people to understand my perspective on things, which is like loosen up,
Mm,
um, and like laugh, and it doesn't have to be so heavy, and like let's come together, and all
mhm.
that like cliche stuff. But I mean, it's so true, and I think I'm so lucky to be able to do that in a way that feeds my soul, um, and in a way that impacts people and helps people. Um, And I would say that's most definitely the most rewarding thing, but it definitely is a lot of pressure as well because you have, I mean, 41, 42 million people are following, but I mean, how many people aren't following? Like, how many people hate, like how many,
Mm.
like the DMs, like my brother's channel gets a lot of like crazy DMs and like it is a lot of pressure and it's hard to know how to stay, like in the in the on track, you know,
Mhm.
keep up with your schedule, be able to like understand the updates of the apps and what the people want and new generation and.
Mhm. And I wasn't planning on asking you this, but I think that this is actually another important topic. So so to your point, yes, 41, 42 million people, you're obviously going to get weird DMs, mean comments, things like that. A lot of unwanted negativity because people on the internet, for some reason,
Love it.
are negative, which I'm sorry, come at me for this if you have to, but like if w- if you fall into that category of like that, I hate to be mean, but like I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be
Be
mean.
mean. No.
Okay, no. Well, if you fall into the category of the person who is sitting behind your keyboard or your phone and messaging and leaving comments to people that are mean and totally unsolicited and uncalled for and just flat out cruel, you need to look in the mirror and reevaluate what your life is and what's making you unhappy because it's not the content creator who's living their truth that you're trying to tear
Literally.
down.
Literally. I mean, the best is when someone made fun of my niece and called her Pennywise because she has a type of dwarfism that makes her look funny and she has a trach. And I didn't let them just, look in the mirror though. I went down to the alley, picked up dog shit, found their mailing address, printed out their face, put them on like the top of a piece of cake and made them a little jingle and sent it to them.
Oh my God.
And then I got a strike on YouTube when I posted the video.
Oh my gosh. But you know what though? Like somebody who's going to comment anything horrible about a child, I mean,
Especially my
geez,
nieces.
yeah,
Yeah.
come on. Yeah, no. So my question is, how do you cope with this? Because I'll tell you, I've gotten mean comments before in DMs, and some of them have only even been like PG-13, and it kind of takes me a minute to shake it. How do you deal with this?
I think it's kind of like my LA vibe of moving here. I'm like, comes with the job, like
Yeah.
I've never been shook by negative comments ever. I think because I've been used to seeing them with my family or with me in some capacity.
Mm,
So it's easy for me to just like shake them off. I just use them more as like tools, I guess. It's like, okay, like everyone's hating on me for this like thirst trap. I can't do this anymore. Like stuff like that I'll like use it for. But if anything, if someone really pisses me off, then I actually love that because fear is such a strong emotion. And if it motivates me to get the thing done, then I'm gonna get it done.
hmm
So if anything, it's a win.
So you've been very open about being bullied growing up. How has your perspective on being different evolved since you were a kid, now having all these successes under your belt while pursuing your passion?
I think it's kind of like what I was saying with the book, where as soon as I kind of learned that what I thought were my weaknesses were actually my strengths,
Mhm.
like I think that writing Little Imperfections was actually a healing my childhood self moment, like a big part of it.
Mm,
And I think it kind of ties to that point of if if I wouldn't have let myself take risks and try all of these things and um, not listen to the haters and just keep beating to my own drum, even though it's, strange to people, then I wouldn't have, made an impact to the way that I wanted to. So yeah, it all kind of comes down to be you. I mean, I hate saying that because it sounds so stupid, but I mean, it's so true. Like, I mean, my perspective allowed me to write my story, allowed me to create my kind of content and the vibe that I create,
mhm,
allows me to create the music that I create. Like, I think that's just empowering because it is different. And
mhm,
so everyone is different. And like, yeah, I used to think different was just like tall people and little people, for
mhm.
example. And then now it's like, no, everyone is like a tall person or a little person. Like everybody feels different in some way and it doesn't matter. You just gotta like people just gotta find, what it is that like separates themselves in the best way. And I feel like I just got lucky finding that
Mm.
for myself.
If there's a young content creator who's watching right now who is just getting started going down this path and who wants to build a career pursuing this path, who feels that they don't quite fit in, what advice would you give them?
We're at a really good day and age, thanks to TikTok, to where the algorithm looks totally different than it ever did. And
Mhm.
like, I know if I were in high school or middle school, I would secretly be having like a TikTok and be doing all the cringe stuff. And you know what I mean? Maybe secretly you would too. But you're like,
Oh,
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So instead of embarrassing yourself, maybe with what you think is different with like the peers at school, like open a bunch of TikTok accounts, open a bunch of different Instagram accounts, YouTube accounts, utilize the shorts algorithm, the reels algorithm, and the TikTok algorithm. Like use that to find what really like use that as a tool to like figure out what really sticks out about you, what makes you different in a way that is engaging.
Mm,
And that's my piece of advice. Like, you don't have to, put it out there for the school, but like just create secret ones, see what catches, and
mhm.
then when you figure it out, then, then you can kind of just go crazy.
That's actually really a really smart idea. Creating a separate account, having your own private little community, not following people that you know. That way you don't feel restricted by
Yep.
everybody else's opinions of you. And it's funny because like even James Joyce, he didn't write a single word until he left Ireland. So I think that there's something very magical about being able to and moving to a new city, reinventing yourself and not
Mhm.
feeling confined by the image that people have of you.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, like no one's gonna see you the way that you see yourself. So,
Mhm.
and we're all just living on a giant floating rock, so might as well just live it up.
And Pete, what do you have coming up next?
I'm starting a podcast, just like
Let's
doing what you
go.
do.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I can't wait.
It's called exposure therapy. So it's going to be very interesting. Um, I have a new song coming out called Isms, and it's about um, just being neurodivergent. It's just kind of like my book, like everything. I have the next book coming out, Knowing the Never Pretenders, and it's also going to be an animated series. I have a reality show um, that we just shot the pilot for that I can't really talk about yet. Um, and then I'm going on tour for something called Pete's Package, where I presented to start an OnlyFans to basically do something else.
Oh my gosh, you have a lot of really exciting projects coming up.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And where's the best place that people can find you, follow you, and keep up with all your work?
So you can go to Peet Montzingo, Pete like the coffee, Montzingo, or just type in like ginger guy and short mom. It's just way easier.
And Pete, if you could go back in time and offer your younger self one bit of advice right before embarking on your specific journey tailored to you, what would it be?
To run away when I'm 14 and go to LA and start earlier. No, I'm just kidding. No. Um, I mean, kind of though. I mean, obviously not, but
But yes.
I would, yeah, I probably, I would, like, I would have, okay, let me rephrase this. I would have not beat myself up about those sleepless nights where I was animating on PowerPoint because it was still animation, like I didn't have to like have the right tools. I just had to create. I just had to do something every day and I had to like celebrate that. And now I can look back and celebrate it. And I just wish that I had then.
Well, Pete, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was amazing. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. I'm going to get some sleep now.